All right. I'm not going to do the intro. We can just chat a little bit here, and I can always edit, but we can just chat a little bit as we wait. But um, yeah. Welcome, everyone. Happy Monday evening. Welcome to our Chit Chat and Chill conversation. Tonight, we're going to be talking about vaccines. Hopefully, you saw the posters and everything that we posted today, but this conversation is very relevant. There's been a lot of, new news and new interesting things that we wanted to talk about around COVID and masks and not wearing masks and vaccines and not getting vaccinated and our government's response to that. So we kind of had a bunch of different topics that we wanted to talk through all around COVID and the vaccines. So that's what we're going to get into tonight. Our panelists are myself, Santino, Matito, Aaron, and we'll have Jeff joining us in a little bit. But yeah, we're going to talk. The first thing I wanted to talk about before we get into our opinions about what's going on is how our government is trying to encourage people to get vaccinated. Um, we do have quite a few folks who have jumped on the wagon getting vaccinated, but there are some folks who are hesitant. So the first part of our conversation is just going to be around um, a word like what our president has to say on this topic. So with that, I'm going to share my screen and make sure I share my audio so that everyone can hear everything. But here's what he says the government's going to do.
In today's briefing, we discussed how our administration is going to devote the remainder of the summer to a special focus on 5 ways to make gains in getting those of you who are unvaccinated vaccinated. Because here's the deal. We are continuing to wind down the mass vaccination sites that did so much in the spring to rapidly vaccinate those eager to get their first shot and their second shot, for that matter, if they need a second. Now we need to go to community by community, neighborhood by neighborhood, and oftentimes door to door, literally knocking on doors to get help to the remaining people protected from the virus.
All right. So that clip got a lot of backlash, actually. I'm going to stop sharing. So
When I was your
that doesn't happen. It got a lot of press from the right who didn't really like that comment. So I just wanted to have the conversation about it and get you guys' thoughts on what you think about his comment about the government and how he said their responsibility this summer is to go door to door and make sure people are getting vaccinated. So who wants to start? What do you guys think? They're trying to get vaccinated. This is a good thing.
the government can't be forcing anybody to do anything with their bodies, right?
I mean, he didn't say force. He just said they're going to go door to door and make sure people know. I didn't get the vibe that he was trying to force people, but just that.
Coerced. It's coercion.
When has the government ever knocked on everyone's door without an intention? It's not just to educate. Otherwise, they'd keep doing what they're doing on TV with the music and the public service announcement, all that nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, is it nonsense or is it just unrealistic? I mean, it's very interesting to me. The thing that stuck out to me that made me squint a little bit after hearing that was just like, so y'all gonna go door to door on this, but we have so many other things going on in our community that a door to door interaction would be helpful for, like keeping kids off the streets and visiting and making sure that kids have things to do or resources or food during the pandemic. Deliver food. Personally, delivering ID. I heard people talk about that after Kamala Harris's comment about how people don't have access to Xerox IDs and that whole other side conversation about voting. They're like, okay, well, if people don't have access to IDs, why don't you go door to door and give them IDs? So
yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
It seems a little too personal, a little too
much. I mean, it goes hand in hand with like other things that this administration's been trying to push. Like maybe like the FBI recently was talking about pretty much spying on your neighbors for extremist activity and to report them. Like it's just like par for the course with this administration. As much as people were afraid of an authoritarian Trump administration, it looks like we're getting it more with this administration than we ever had with Trump.
I don't know about all that.
I I don't know anybody who, just because somebody knocks on my door, I'm going to allow you to inject me with anything. Like,
Right.
that's, we don't even want people knocking on our door to get our census information. So why would I let somebody, in a world where we, especially right now, when we have so many scammers with your warranty and something's wrong with your state ID and all this other stuff, why would I allow you in my home, in my space, to inject me with something? Which, what, who's to say these people are medical personnel?
Yeah.
I don't know where these people are coming from. It just leaves too much room for error.
What were you gonna say, Tito?
More than error, there can be nefariousness going on with people claiming to be from the government. So it's not about them forcing anything. It's about the image that is created by the government knocking door to door for any reason. Like Shantae said, they could have done it for a lot of other things. They could be doing it for, to talk about violence in certain neighborhoods. They could have done it to distribute checks and shown that they have some kind of interest. But to do it around this is not only propaganda, but again, that visual of having people knock on my door wearing masks, claiming to be from the government. I don't know who you are.
Right.
They cannot knock on my door.
I just quit
I'm going to talk through my Ring, or actually it's Vivid now. I'm going to talk through that thing and say you need to leave, because I'm not going to answer the door for Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm definitely not answering the door for the government. It's not going to happen. And if you don't walk away, we're going to have a problem because you're on my property at that point.
Right. Go ahead, Joe.
I'm just going to put it like this. Hey, everybody. You come to my door trying to give me a shot, you might get shot. That's just how that's going to be. You might get shot.
Though.
I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. No. It ain't no.
No, I'm saying I agree with you. This is America. You can't just knock on people's doors
with a needle. Like
this is the government initiative. It just sounded so weird that someone would say that out loud, that our president would say that out loud, that it's what the government's going to be focused on this summer. That's what made me squint. I was just like,
it's not weird that your president would say it out loud. He says a lot of crazy stuff out loud.
Which we'll get to in a second. we have the Tuskegee Airmen thing in the banner, but we haven't gotten to that video yet. But I feel like I'm getting the vibe on this call that minorities are hesitant to get vaccinated, right? So this is a fact. This is just a statistic that the government has been talking about. I'm reading on kff.org right now. It says 67% of the U.S. population 18 years or older as of July 4th have received their first dose of the vaccine. However, this remains uneven across the country. In particular, in Black and Hispanic neighborhoods, people have persistently lower rates of vaccination compared to their white counterparts in most states. And these lower vaccination rates leave Black and Hispanic people at increased risk for infection, illness, and death, particularly as new variants arise. So there's this problem that I think the government's trying to deal with as far as minorities and we're kind of talking about being skeptical about people showing up on our doorstep and trying to get us to get vaccinated and like pushing it on us. And that's kind of what's happening. And then we end up with Biden trying to solve for this problem by making comments like what's in the thing, like I said. So let me just share my screen on this one, because even this was like, what? What are y'all trying to do? It's like they're out of touch with society, and I'm just baffled by their response.
For people. There's a reason why it's been harder to get African Americans initially to get vaccinated, because they used to being experimented on. The Tuskegee Airmen and others. People have memories. People have long memories. It's awful hard as well to get Latinx vaccinated as well. Why? They're worried that they'll be vaccinated and deported.
Yeah.
So from day one, something that Governor Cooper has been totally focused on is making sure we get as many people vaccinated, particularly people who don't have access to health care usually, who don't have ordinary, for people. There's a reason.
So that's that. I'm not going to share anything else on that, but that that's what he had to say. There was, if you didn't catch it, the Tuskegee Airmen were not experimented on. That was a Tuskegee experiment that I think he was trying to refer to. But this is, I mean, it's just so silly how I feel like how the government thinks about us is so wrong.
Hey, you know what I think is hilarious? He's sitting there saying that, Latinx, whatever the hell that is, we're afraid of getting vaccinated because, we don't want to get deported. So his solution, let's send the government to my fucking door.
And bang on your door and say, "Let's get vaccinated."
Even worse than that, it assumes all Latino people are Latinx.
Oh yeah, super. I mean,
they're all
racist. That's super.
They're all
racist.
Mexicans and they're all illegals. That's how he's thinking about this.
It's extremely
and if that
racist.
doesn't make people go, what? I don't know what will, 'cause
I mean, it's another one of those crazy racist comments that crazy old Joe gets to make and gets a pass from.
they're all illegals. These guys can't use computers. It's nonstop with the statements like that. And if that doesn't, that's gonna help. That's gonna help get people to open their doors to you, like Santino said. Like, what is this guy talking about?
So why do you guys think
one of the most decorated units in the Air Force? Like, how do you?
He just talks. But why do you guys think minorities are hesitant to get vaccinated?
So I feel like he was, at least African American wise, he was on the right track. Just kind of get a huge bump. But yeah, we, especially I feel like African Americans, we're cautious. We don't trust the government. We side eye things. And a Tuskegee experiment, especially for our older generation, is one of those reasons. And not just that, it's just different experiences for African Americans. I think it doesn't benefit us, or it don't work out well for us, or different points in history where the government's like, "Come on, friend." And then we got on a damn boat and we got stuck over here. So I think that portion he was on the right track about.
Tito?
I disagree that black people don't trust the government. We ask them for everything. We're asking for reparations. We ask for more. Every time there's an election cycle, we start asking for more stuff. So I don't think it's about trust. I think when you spend an entire pandemic calling it Trump's vaccine and calling that racist, when it comes out, now you're saying, hey, everybody needs to take it. Well, wait a minute. You're the one who told me not to take it. Of course there's going to be hesitation. They spent a year talking about it, saying it's impossible. And they went list for list, including Kamala. She said, I'm not going to take it. And then you see her on TV stabbing herself with it. So which one is it? So the trust is always going to come with the media, with whoever. If you're flip-flopping and going back and forth and you're giving mixed messages, I don't trust it. I'll pass on this one.
It always comes back to Trump.
Yep.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, everything is Trump's fault. Before him, Obama's fault. Before him, Bush's fault. It don't matter. It don't matter. We'll continue to blame stupid stuff. But yeah, I agree with Matito. Like black people trust the government as long as it comes with something that is financial gain behind it. What can we get for free from this government? People of color, and it's not all of us because I like to work for what I got. But as far as the vaccine, man, look, I went and got mine. My wife went and got hers. My son will go get his. But probably the funniest thing I saw was when I was at the facility that they were giving vaccines for. They had a line for the Moderna, and then they had a line for the Pfizer, or not the Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, the 1 dose. So these, black people saw the white folks going over for the 1 dose. And they was like, we want to go over there with them and get what they getting. And they were loud about it. They were like, we going over there with them. I'm not standing there. Like, you're not going to separate my shot from their shot. I want to go over there with them. So all these people are changing their shots, coming back the next day to get the that shot because all the white people were in that line because they heard about the 1 dose rather than the 2. And I was just shaking my head. I was like, they both do the same thing, y'all. You're not going to have a magnetic chip in you. Nobody's tracking you through your shot at least. You're not worried. You're worried about being tracked through your shot, but you hold a cell phone every day and go everywhere with it. But that doesn't make any sense. That's a whole nother thing. But yeah, black folks just we feel like we've been hoodwinked enough. Maybe they take out of this vial for them and take out of this vial for us. So that's what it is.
You never know. Santino, what are your thoughts?
I honestly don't know. I don't know why I don't know why the disparity, and I don't want to assume to know either. I mean, the way I see it, I mean, the messaging is out there. Whether you're getting it from localized media, TV, wherever, or even social media, like everyone has it in front of them, whether they're going to get one, whether they want to get one or not. They know the pros and the cons. At this point, I'm confident that most people know the pros and the cons.
I agree.
Majority of people. Maybe some older folks may not, but the majority of people know the pros and the cons. And I think at this point, they've made a choice. And it is what it is.
And we also have a disparity as far as they say that obviously you don't know how COVID's going to react in folks who have pre-existing conditions and older people. And obviously we have an uneven, like a higher number of folks who have pre-existing conditions that are in our worlds and realms. So that could be part of it as well.
Can I throw an X factor though?
Sure.
Possibly. We were as communities, we were also disproportionately affected by COVID.
Right.
Like, getting infected and in a lot of cases getting better from it. And if you or you have immediate loved ones that have gotten COVID and you've seen them, you see how it progresses, with them, and you might make that choice and be like, you know what? It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it sort of depends, for sure. All right.
But back to my point about how do we know the cons? Where did we learn the cons from? For a year, we were told by the very same people who are now saying you need to take it. We were given all those cons.
Right.
It's not enough time. We don't know. Moderna's never had anything approved by the. They went down these lists and gave us the cons, and then since January, all of a sudden it's necessary. Everybody needs it. You're the one who said not to take it, so I'm not even going to ask which one is it. I'm just going to say I'm good.
Yeah.
Listen, my wife, she had breast cancer a couple years ago, and she battled that, and that's considered a pre-existing condition. And she went to, now when I took my vaccine, I had COVID last year. When I got my vaccine, the very next day after I got it, after I got the second shot, the symptoms I felt when I first got COVID, I felt that whole day. Felt like crap. My wife, she didn't get COVID when I had it, and she didn't feel a lick of a symptom when she got the thing. I don't know what chemo does to an immune system. If my wife told me, she said, if your body can survive chemo, it can survive anything. So whatever. You want to put more poison in me? Cool. But there's a lot of people with pre-existing conditions out here that don't feel any effects from COVID. And the media tends to focus on only the people that do and never tell you about the people who don't. And the percentages would probably be a lot smaller for the people who do than the people who don't. And we just got to stop getting all our news from the media and worry about how we feel and how the people around us are doing. Get our information that way, because the media tell us we're dying tomorrow when people will run out and rob every bank out here because they live off of the word of the media and don't have the brain function to actually sit back and study and look into things for themselves. And that's a sad part about our society. That's why a lot of people ran to get the vaccine. I ran to get the vaccine just because I was going to be around a bunch of kids when my kids went back to school, and I ain't need all that. I really did.
Yeah,
And,
go ahead, Tito.
and I got it really because Kawan made me get it, but also because they were threatening to not let people travel. But everybody I knew who had it worse for that second shot. Really got them good, and it affected them differently because I didn't feel anything either. But what's not going to happen is my son's going to take it. It's not going to happen. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you say. They say they're following CDC guidelines, but there's zero evidence that I have to give it to my son. Zero.
And how old is your son? Like
2.5.
Yeah.
Zero evidence that he needs it, but they're saying you need to give it to your kids. No.
Right.
No, not happening.
And we know that the numbers are skewed. Like Jeff, you had touched on the percentages being skewed. Like we know that the survival rate is over 90%. Yes, we've been told that there are lingering effects that can go on for life. Like there are people who experience those lifetime effects. But we haven't, like you said, we haven't really been told like how many people are okay. Like 97% survival rate or whatever it is. And that's too low, we know, because we know all of a sudden the flu disappeared from these numbers in the hospitalizations, et cetera, last year. So we know that, and we know hospitals are now going back and correcting those things that they were just labeling everything as COVID, whether it's for funding or whatever they were doing. We know that they're going back and correcting it. So that 97% or whatever might go up to the survival rate that's now closer to the flu, and is like, we went through all of this, and now all we really need is like a COVID shot every year, just like you get a flu shot every year, and it's completely optional. Like, is that where we're going to end up after all of this craziness? It's crazy to think about the what we've been through this year. Who's hesitant to get it right? Or like circle back to the fact that we're just like, do we really need it? I feel like we don't know. But we're not gonna know. It's gonna be years before we really know the impact of this thing, the actual impact, and not just what we're panicking on. So, interesting. Any other thoughts on that before we talk a little bit about the propaganda around these encouragement of the vaccine? So we talked a little bit about that. That's what we're talking about. Any other thoughts? Okay, so here's the next thing I wanted to talk about. Read it on the bottom of the screen. So vax that thing up. Have you guys seen this?
Yes,
Okay.
unfortunately.
I'm going
Unfortunately.
to share this again.
I have not seen that, and that is hilarious.
Is it though? Let's see. Okay, so that was my article. I'm about to do this, and I'm about to 3 million views on YouTube, guys.
There's a video. Come on, man.
Hey, it's legit. The production values are legit.
Open up your okay ass, okay.
Oh my god.
Nice chat, got your bio read right chat. Nice chat, looking for your validate chat. You gotta wait chat, gotta go back to nature. Give me straight chat. Girl, you little skill, want you vax that thing up. You's a handsome young brother, want you vax that thing up. Dating real like you need to vax that thing up. Feeling freaky all night, you need to vax that thing up. Girl, you little skill, want you vax that thing up. You's a handsome young brother, want you vax.
But my mouse is going crazy. Okay.
This is what they think of us.
Man.
And I don't know how people don't get mad at that. You know, a presidential candidate talking to Cardi B and all this nonsense. This is what they think of us. Like, that's infuriating.
Man, you want to look.
On top of it being propaganda, it is infuriating seeing that. It is so insulting.
But that's for that generation, though. No, it's not for us.
What generation? That's our song.
That's our song.
That's our song.
But everything is TikTok now. Everything is that catchy beat.
They don't even know what that song is. That's ours.
It doesn't. Most of the stuff you see on TikTok, they don't know what it is. Or when you see those challenges, they don't know. Oh my God, that song was 25 years old. They just know what TikTok sensation made it into a dance, and they're doing it. That's not for us.
I feel like that was
everybody knows that.
You hear that, like we were saying, you hear that in a club. You hear the beginning of that song. That's for us. Like these kids don't know that song. Now they will, but I don't know. I felt like that was for us, and it's again, trying to get minorities to go get vaccinated, and this is how you're gonna do it.
There was
It's
nothing.
very catchy. It's very catchy. I'm gonna be singing it tonight, I'm sure.
There's nothing about
Listen.
that song that would make me go get vaccinated as a rational person. Like, I mean, people don't even strap up to have sex. So what about this? Oh yeah, if I see this dude, I gotta get vaccinated first. Like, nah. I don't.
Listen, you want to get the word out to people of color, give them something to twerk to. I'm just saying. You give them something to twerk to, then they're gonna be like, maybe, you know what? And you know, our generation might be smarter than that, but again, the younger generation, they're like, oh girl, you go get your vaccine, and I guarantee you, they're gonna be walking out the doctor's office with their vaccine, twerking to vax that ass up. Just letting you know. I'm just letting you know that's gonna happen.
Isn't
It's ridiculous.
Chicago doing the lottery thing? I thought Chicago was doing some sort of like lottery, like if you got vaccinated, you're entered into a lottery or something like that.
To win
with up to like there's like up to $10 million in like cash and prizes type of ridiculous situation.
But I've seen that with a lot of places, like Six Flags. You can get a ticket to Six Flags if you went that day and got vaccinated. I've seen so many places
free donut.
Right.
Was that Krispy Kreme or one of them places?
Yes.
I forgot.
They're doing beer.
But see, this video, why was it infuriating for you, Tito? I don't want to put words in your mouth. Why would you? Why?
Because it's insulting that this is what they think it takes to appeal to black people.
Yeah.
That appeals to stupid people. And again, going back to the Cardi B interview, why are you interviewing a presidential candidate? You can barely speak English, and this is what they think we need. This is what they think. Oh, this will get to the blacks. This is how they think, and it's infuriating.
It's hot sauce in the purse all over again.
Exactly. You pull out hot sauce.
I could definitely see that. I could also see Jeff's point about give them something to twerk to, and it's gonna work. It's at least gonna get them talking. I mean, we're talking about it now. Some will be infuriated, and some will be twerking their way to the damn doctor's office to get vaccinated.
I mean, I said it's super cringy. It's like
it's cringy.
It's like SNL, The Office type of crap. It's so cringy, and the thing is, like, it's so cringy, but like you can't even show that thing to your mom or your grandma anyway. Unless your mom or grandma's a certain type of way, I wouldn't feel comfortable showing my mom or my grandma that video.
That's for this generation.
Because them younger kids can't understand. They can't understand that rap music. Have you heard their rap music nowadays? They can't understand that. They can't understand the lyrics.
Who did they consult? Oh, this is a good idea. Like, that's my biggest problem is Ice Cube before the election tried to talk to them about something. He could have got this message out. They could have worked with him when he was working with them on the platinum plan. They never met with him after they said, after the election, we'll sit down with you. Well, it's July. They never sat down with him, got a hold of him. He can get a better message to us and it not be insulting.
Right. And he has the big three going on right now. So he has commercial ad time. All these other ways, like you said, to
work with him, to work with the community, to gain trust. This is not the way to gain trust. Like, it's
hey, you know who's not mad at this whole situation? Juvenile.
Yeah.
Birdman, Baby. They not mad at it.
Mia X.
Yeah, they not mad at it.
Mia X sounded like an old lady at the end of that track. Like you can hear the shake. You can hear the shake in her voice already.
That's a government contract. They got paid. They did their civil duty.
Great. That means we paid for that, guys.
We paid for that. That's probably
where's the weaponized autist got to go and like delve into who funded that video. Like
comment, LaShawn. Yes, someone was paid. Somebody paid them to do that. It's propaganda. It's unbelievably.
Yeah, I like legit was cringy was a good word, Tino. That's all.
Why?
It's super
Cringy.
But
cringy.
Why?
Because it's all, you know what? Because it's all
Identify.
caricatures. It's all caricatures.
you.
I'm sorry. It's all
Thank you.
caricatures. It's all archetypes. This is the same crap that they've been like that's just been going on for like decades, and we need to move past it. It really is insulting, dude. It's just like I can't really speak on it because I'm not black, and like so I have to really defer to you guys. But like I'm looking at this and it's like making me uncomfortable.
You don't.
You can speak on it.
Because you might get deported.
Oh yes,
Ridiculous to us is
right.
ridiculous
I
to
gotta worry about
everybody.
getting
Really.
deported.
How can we move forward? How can we move forward if our administration, starting with our president and our vice president, are talking so much about how little we can do as a group of people and what we're not capable of and how not smart we are? I mean, they're telling us what they think of us, not just
can't figure out computers,
but like literally out loud.
And the thing is, you know, going back to my comment earlier where I said, you know, I feel like, you know, the messaging is out there. People have had these conversations with their peers, with you know, their friends on social media. I wouldn't even say their friends, but, you know, people on social media. The messaging is out there. People have already made the choice. The government has to respect that choice, whether they did it or not. And to assume, you know, between black and brown folks that we are unable to make that decision and we need all this extra marketing towards us specifically where they insult us, you know, that's insulting too. At this point, everyone's made a choice.
Yep.
It's available. You can walk into a Walgreens or a Target anywhere and get this damn thing. People have made a choice at this point. Respect the choice.
Respect the choice.
You know?
Flu. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. You know, there's a lot of flu cases that end up being deadly. It's a matter of choice. And like you say, you can't force in America, we cannot force this, but we've seen a lot in the media lately where it's mostly the left talking about how do we force people to get vaccinated? How do we make it difficult for them to live if they're not vaccinated? Tell them they can't go back to work. Tell them they can't get on the airplane. Tell them they can't do this and that. It's so frustrating because it's like, when did COVID become this?
Hey, I thought their motto was "My body, my choice." They forgot about that.
Exactly.
My body, my choice.
I was about to say that, but I didn't want to offend nobody.
I'm not trying to offend anybody. It's that's the model. If you have an entire platform based on that, then it needs to encompass all aspects of any individual's health.
Yeah.
My body, my choice.
COVID the way you said it was less offensive than what I was going to say. So.
I had to turn that political brain on for a second to be a bit of a politician about it.
Yeah, if COVID cases are down and people have stopped spreading it and we're comfortable reopening schools, etc., what's the problem? Let's move on and not be racist and ridiculous and put out propaganda and then talk about it. And I just really wish our government was more in tune. It's very frustrating to have a black female VP and to have stuff like this coming out.
But the government is.
She's only there to take the heat from the Biden administration. She takes all the criticism.
But the government is. The government is in tune because you see, like Santino was saying earlier about rap and what's considered rap and hip hop and the message it sends when you got city girls and half naked girls and twerking and jewelry, and that is what appeals to certain demographics. These are the people who are your chart toppers, who are your Meg the Stallions, which nothing wrong with Meg the Stallion, by the way. But the point is, she's sexy, sex sells. So that is how the government is in tune. They are completely in tune. Because, yeah, if the country people did, made, what's that, hunky tunk badunkadunk with the vaccine, like it wouldn't
I did
work
not know
the same.
that. No, I don't know what this is that you're saying.
There's a song called Honky Tonk Badunkadunk,
right,
assuming that they did.
But I'm saying if they did, it wouldn't work the same. But for us, for people of color, yeah, right now, that's where our dollars are in that thing. Just like, with Cardi B being able to talk to a presidential candidate because she has people's ear. She has so many followers and influencers, and that's why people are threatening Candace Owens and all this other stuff. It's because she has a following.
So Aaron, you're
Candace
saying that
Owens
we have to
drag. That's
Wait,
why
Aaron,
they're threatening Candace Owens.
Well, say it again, Tito.
No, I said they're threatening Candace Owens because she dragged Cardi B all across the internet. It ain't got nothing to do with anything else other
No, right, because exactly, no argument. But I'm saying because she has, just like if Beyonce has a following. When these people have strong followings, yes, they young people aren't following Ice Cube like they are Cardi B or a Lil Baby or Da Baby or one of them babies. It's not the same.
Correct. But responsible people are. Irresponsible people aren't. So
We're not.
those aren't the people we should be targeting. We should be targeting people with the ideas who are trying to do something. Why would you target the lowest rung of society?
Why
Because-
are you saying we're on the lowest rung?
The lowest rung of society.
We've talked about
Because, like Santino said, certain people have already made their mind up. Are people who, how do I say this politely? Our group people, not lowest rung. I'm not saying that. But there are certain people who carry themselves in a different manner. They've made their mind up. You don't have to sell us on anything. Like Santino said, we kind of already decided we doing it or we not for whatever reasons. We saw our somebody in our family had it, somebody we know passed away from it, or I don't trust the government, I'm not doing it. We've made our mind up. For these kids who are in between and they don't know what they want to do, and this is it. This is their thing. Just like with voting, when it came time to vote, for them kids who could really care less about voting, like they don't care, but oh my God, Cardi B just said, vote for Biden. I'm gonna vote for Biden.
Is that, but so this goes back to my point. Is that who you want?
That's who they wanted.
In charge. She can barely speak English.
But that's what they wanted.
Right, that's not for us.
It was right. It's not for us. It was for a different generation, maybe. But I mean, I couldn't watch that interview. I tried. It was really hard.
Can't make it 5 minutes through because you don't know what she's saying.
But there were a bunch of people who tuned in. Millions of people tuned into that interview, and a lot of people voted for Joe Biden because she talked to him about it.
I don't see that. There's no.
I disagree.
I'd have to see numbers to show that she impacted the voter.
You're not going to see numbers. But
you're not going to.
You would have to look at the poll numbers after. You'd have to look at the poll numbers after immediately after that interview.
Yes,
and you can look that up.
So
that would take some time.
This is like almost a year old, but on the same vein of this topic. So I was reading an article about how when Trump was giving out pardons, he pardoned somebody who worked for Jay-Z. Mm-hmm. And part of that deal to pardon this person, even though they weren't in jail, it's just clearing the felony off their record, was he couldn't campaign. Which you notice they were quiet that year. Like they had campaigned previously, but they were quiet that year.
Who?
Jay-Z. So that was part of the deal. I'm gonna find an article and send it to you guys. But because they made that deal and they didn't campaign. Yeah. Imagine if Jay-Z and Beyonce told people who to vote for.
That's an older demo though.
No, but
that's not the Cardi B demo.
No, but the point is they have an influence. They have a humongous influence.
Over a different demographic.
I don't know, because
Beyonce, all they did was swap him out with P. Diddy with the vote or die stuff.
Yeah,
nobody cares.
Beyonce tried to. She told people to vote for somebody. Was it in Texas? It was like a Texas Senate or something, and it didn't work. It backfired. People thought that she actually hurt that person. So I don't know, man. It's just very when it comes to celebrities, it's silly to put them on this pedestal.
They cooled on Beyonce and them because it didn't help Clinton over Trump.
Yeah, it didn't help there. And then that Senate, I'm pretty sure it was a Texas Senate thing that she tweeted out who to vote for, and it did not work.
But wasn't it towards the end? Wasn't it towards the end that she tweeted that, like the final leg of the race? It wasn't even at the.
It wasn't during the run, but people were like, why is she interfering in politics? Stay on your platform. You're just a singer. You shouldn't be talking about politics. Even though, like you said, we had Diddy, Vote or Die, and we have all this other stuff going on with celebrities. I just feel like it's you just never know how people are going to react. And
vote.
She heard herself when they went to Cuba, and that really hurt their Hispanic vote. That's why they pushed them to the side. When they went to
Cuba,
Cuba,
think about that, but you're right. They did go to Cuba, but it's just, again, it's interesting, right? Because it's like you don't know how Beyonce's fans are going to react. You don't know how Cardi B's fans are going to react, but they just go with it on this random racist agenda. They're just like, Juvenile remake, back that ass up, back that ass up. Like, let's just see what happens. 3 million views. Yes, this is so annoying.
I need Kanye West to come out and just say that Democrats don't like black people. Just one time. Just one time.
It's too late. I think he lost his.
George Bush.
I think he lost his.
To the propaganda point, right now Cuba's having a really, really big uprising against the government.
Yeah.
What do we see on the news? It's about COVID. They're trying to make everything about COVID, and I don't know what can be more propaganda than what they're doing with this, because no matter what the topic, they'll steer it back to getting a vaccine. That has nothing to do with COVID.
You're talking about the Cuba uprising?
Yes.
Nah, they're chanting freedom.
They want freedom. They're trying to get rid of that government, and they're reporting it here as if these people are gathering an uprising because they want vaccinations.
Have you
heard one person mention vaccinations, and they made it all about that?
And I'm sure it's part of their agenda, but
no.
Right? It's
it's on the very, very, very low end.
Right. Ugh. Sorry, what were you gonna say, Santino? I didn't.
No, let's say, have you guys seen that video with that Cuban couple that just recently migrated to America?
Mm-hmm.
And they're experiencing all the specifically the guy. He's experiencing all these like an American grocery store for the first time.
On TikTok?
Home Depot for the first time. It's on YouTube for sure, man. Okay. That stuff's real, man. Let me tell you, because I was in Cuba and we couldn't even find a roll of toilet paper like for an entire week. We had one roll of toilet paper that lasted us the whole week, and like the stuff was just not there. Like, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy. They had like bare grocery store shelves and everything. But yeah, watching that video with that couple is real interesting.
It's interesting. We're talking about Cuba right now and a communist government trying to be overthrown, and we're sitting here talking about how there's actually propaganda happening all the time in America through our media, and it seems to just be getting stronger. Yeah. And the scary part is Americans have such a short attention span. No, it's not just Americans. Everyone has such a short attention span now because of the internet and everything that we're able to watch and all the access we have is immediate access to everything. And it's just like, man, if we're down that path again, we're just going through this endless vicious cycle of history repeating itself. And I just really hope that's not what happens, that we're able to get ourselves out of any type of propaganda leading to people thinking that they can just show up at your door and say, hey, you need to get vaccinated. And then that leads to something even more ridiculous, etc. I hope this whole thing blows over and people start treating it like the flu or whatever and say, okay, every year you just need a COVID shot.
There'll be a couple of home invasions, and then they'll try to figure out how did this happen? We need more police. Oh, wait, no, we got to calm down.
Well, they're already trying to do that. They're saying that they want to put satellite stations for the Capitol Police across the country. Crazy.
So that said, are you guys getting the booster shot?
Absolutely not.
Is there a booster shot?
There will be. They are starting to talk about developing a booster shot. I think Pfizer has been approved to start that process.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not, like, I got the vaccine. I'm not one to ever shy away from getting a vaccine. Like, just meh, you know. And I had zero reactions. I never got COVID, at least as far as I know. I never got COVID. Zero reactions from both shots. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, if I just don't, like, I can get it and I don't care. Like, even if it was a booster, I just wouldn't care.
I mean, is that how all of you are sort of feeling at this point? That if you get COVID, maybe it won't be so bad? Or wait, are we all, well, maybe if you don't want to share if you're vaccinated or not, never mind. I don't want to ask that question outright. But how are you guys feeling? Like, are you feeling like if you get COVID at this point, maybe it's not so bad that they made it seem worse than
I was never afraid of getting COVID for myself. I mean,
Yeah.
You know,
I
I think
got it.
I think I said in the previous video. I think the previous video, I like the last time I've had to take a sick day for anything was like 8 years ago. So I'm meh,
So we know what
like
The
you know,
the
Aaron.
first time I had to take a sick day in forever was when I got COVID, and I had to stay away from work at that time. I had it before I had it. I wasn't worried about it. Now that I've had it, I ain't worried about it. If I get it, I'll get through it. My immune system will act as it is, and if for some reason I don't make it from whatever complications that come along, okay, it was supposed to happen. I'm not going to live my life in fear of something that I can't control. So if I get sick, I'm gonna get better. That's my mentality from it. But I'll get the booster shot as soon as Joe Biden throws in a $200 gift card to Starbucks. I'll be all good.
now give me a gas card.
Or the gas card, right? Gas card
They'll
even
show up
better.
and give it to you. They'll hand it to you.
I think I'm gonna require Cardi
But
B
I-
to remake. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I didn't want to get it. I was actually trying to catch COVID. Jeffrey and a lot of people were like, "You're crazy," but I didn't care. I really didn't care. I was more concerned with the older people at our church, which is the only reason I took all the precautions that I did, because that was way more serious than me. It wasn't about me at that point, and we're there 2-3 times a week. So I'm like, I need to be more. For me, it doesn't matter. For my family, it doesn't matter because the girls had it. I'm almost positive Matito had it, but it is what it is.
All right,
I'm gonna
Aaron,
be honest.
go ahead.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. When it was probably the most painful the most pain I ever been in when I was sick. But I didn't get the shortness of breath, like the severe shortness of breath that other people. And I'm an asthmatic, so I thought that was going to be real bad. Barely. I wasn't feverish. I didn't have the huge fevers, but I was tired, sluggish, and I just couldn't move from the pain that my joints were in. And like I said, if I get it again, it's gonna suck. But okay, I don't care.
But Sean asked the question on her last comment.
Oh, okay, hold on. Oh yeah, so that's something we'll talk about in a little bit, but she's also said COVID is horrible and I do not recommend it. So, and then everyone's experience varies, right? You have people who don't even know they have it. You got Jeff, who's like, you got some of the symptoms, not all of them. Sounds like LaShawn might have had all of them. And it's just one of those things where, and then I never had it and I wasn't around people who had it, but we heard bad things and it was just scary. It was scary thinking about catching it because people kept saying, oh my gosh, it takes you out for a full 2 weeks. There's nothing you could do. And it's just terrifying. But also, that's all you're hearing on the media all the time. And it's just like, once you get it, is it really that bad? I don't know. So sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
I was not worried about getting COVID for myself. I was worried about my nephew. He's a toddler. He has asthma. So for me, I'm more concerned with him and him bouncing back than anything else. I did see people, just like you guys said, I saw people on both sides of it. It took them out, but they bounced back. I know people who passed away from it. So it's just about personal preference. But yeah, for us, it was just to keep him safe.
So LaShawn's next comment, right? How do y'all feel about being back in the world with people again? That's kind of the next thing that I wanted to talk about, which was, are you comfortable being around unvaccinated folks?
Well,
honestly.
How do you know? I don't ask people whether they're vaccinated or not.
Me either.
Like I don't ask people that. But
I did it once and I got chewed out and I was like, oh my gosh, it just came out. It wasn't on purpose. They were like, you can't just ask somebody, are they vaccinated? I was like, I'm sorry. It's just so silly though, right? Because I'm just like, oh, are you vaccinated? Like, are you comfortable being around me? And they're just like, look, I'm not comfortable telling you what decision I decided to make for myself. And I'm just like, shoot, it's big because there are people who are dealing with the decision to get vaccinated or not because they might have asthma or something else and they don't know how the vaccine is going to go in them. And maybe they've avoided COVID all this time and they don't want to deal with the vaccine. They just don't know what to do. And so I could totally see that being like people who haven't been vaccinated feeling some kind of way because the media is starting to make them feel bad about themselves. You haven't been vaccinated. So you
Vaccine
Your
shame.
youngest sister is a fool.
Vaccine shame.
Your youngest sister is a fool. She said they're all at Walmart.
Unvaccinated folks.
All the unvaccinated people.
That's terrible.
Listen,
I don't
I
have
was just at
been open for a year. I have no issues. I don't care.
I was just at Six Flags on Saturday for my son's birthday, and we were at Hurricane Harbor, and nobody in there cared about anybody's vaccination. They just wanted to be in some water because 112 outside. The only thing that did suck was the lines for food and like water and crap were like 2.5 hours long. Yeah, exactly.
There's a
It's
Wendy's
stupid.
right around the corner over there. You could. I would have went.
It was just so stupid. But you're standing in line like right next to each other. Nobody gave a crap. They really didn't. All people, California opened up and people lost every bit of their mind. It was like, we're going everywhere. We're touching everything. We're going to put our tongues on it and lick on it and spit on it. We don't care because we're tired of this.
Yeah.
I wish they
also
would all
have one
go
of the
back.
highest-
Traffic sucks again.
Yeah, you guys have the most. I think one of the most restricted cities or states.
They're about to close it back up because apparently more people are starting to get it again. Watch.
The Delta
it's about to happen. Yeah, they have another variant that's out here that's spreading real fast. So it's about to happen where these masks are going to be required again, all this stuff. So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting till Newsom.
Sorry, go ahead.
What's it called? The flu?
Stop. But that's the other thing I was gonna say. These masks are so ridiculous. I got on an airplane, and they're like, "Oh, you can take off your mask." I'm sitting there with my mask hanging around my neck, eating my sandwich next to a person. There's no space between us. We're on this airplane with all this recycled air,
Full capacity too.
full capacity. And then I'm done eating my sandwich and I'm wrapping it up, and I forgot to put my mask back on. And she's like, "Oh man, can you put your mask back on?" I'm like, "This is so stupid." I don't understand the mask anymore. Not
the previous 10 minutes weren't of harm to her. That's all. The previous 10 minutes wouldn't have harmed her. She was safe as long as you was putting food in your mouth. But after that, you were contagious again.
It makes no sense. I was so irritated. I was like, these masks in public places, if we're reopening, make no sense to me. And there's some places that are okay with not having masks, but there are some places that as soon as you walk in, they're like, "Mask, please," and you're like, "Oh, why?" I just came from
that anymore,
with no masks.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't really wore a mask like outside of like work or because I have to. But I haven't worn. I don't even volunteer to put it on when I walk in. Like I put it on if someone asks me, but no one's asked me anyway. You know,
they can do that.
My kids' school, they still require masks.
Yeah. Schools, you have to.
But they're not vaccinated. The kids aren't vaccinated. So to me, the schools where the kids aren't vaccinated makes a little more sense. But a public building that's wide, that's spread, where you already have capacity limits, and you're just literally, I'm walking through a building and they're like, "Mask, please." And I'm like, seriously? Are you kidding me? The Dunkin' Donuts I just came from, they didn't even require a mask.
Our governor made it illegal for them to do mandates. That's why I'm like, they can't do that. But that
different states.
It's that Texas stuff. I went to a restaurant where everybody sitting at a booth did not have a mask on. I was walking in to pick up an order. The girl was like, "You got a mask?" I looked around and I looked at her. I said, "You serious?" She's like, "Yeah, if you're picking up food, you got to have a mask." I was like, "You know what?" I was like, "I'll just cancel my order." She's like, "Never mind, sir. Here's your food."
I saw that happen at IHOP too, where the guy was just
make sense.
He didn't have a mask, and they were like, "It's okay. Just place your order, please. We'll bring it to you outside."
Yeah, make it make sense. If everybody in the building has no mask on, and they're talking as loud as they can, what am I doing to hurt you?
Huffing, puffing, coughing. I mean, as soon as you sit down in a restaurant, you could take off your mask.
Yeah.
It's so
I don't walk in. I don't even take a mask out with me anymore. I don't. If somebody asks me to put on a mask, I'll be like, okay, well, I'll keep my money in my pocket. Go somewhere else. You can't have my money if I gotta be uncomfortable in here.
It makes no sense. I'm sick of these masks now. If we're gonna be open, we need to be open. And I agree with kids or unvaccinated people, or if you're like going to a nursing home or something where there's more of a chance that you might encounter someone who's not vaccinated, that's one thing. But to be vaccinated and wear a mask here and there and not all the time, to me is just inconsistent and ridiculous. And I'm sick of
It's
them.
always been inconsistent.
I know, but like now it's like even more apparent. I'm on an airplane eating a sandwich. Oh yeah, take it off.
Do you guys have the issue there where everywhere you go has the glass up or the plastic up to where they're behind a barrier? Yeah. So what I hate about that, so they're behind a barrier. You got a mask on, they got a mask on, everything sounds like so now you got to put your ear and face to a barrier that then everybody done spit on and coughed on, so you could get COVID that way. Like, stop it. Just live. Like, just live.
The people will come out, or they'll say just come around because they can't hear you or understand you.
Right.
And now we're face to face anyway.
Right.
Or you're like, oh, the credit card machine's broken. Just hand me your stuff through the thing. What are we doing?
What I forgot to tell you at Six Flags, there was one food place that you could wait in line, but the other ones you had to order your food online, and they would give you a time frame to come pick it up, right? So it was like 1:30, and the time frame that we looked at was like 4:15 to pick up food. I'm like, sure. I was like, I'll wait till 4:15 in sweltering heat to get some water and a taco.
Yeah. There's a Wendy's right down the street from that Six Flags. You leave, you go get the food, and go right back in. I always did that.
That's funny.
Why are you trying to make sense?
I never understood that either. Like, we always started at the water park. We started at the water park, left, went to eat, and came back for the rides. And everyone would be in those lines. When you said that, I didn't want to say anything, but I was like,
it makes sense. Right.
The food isn't even that good anyway.
It isn't that good. My mother's a diabetic, so we were trying to get her some substance quickly, and it just wasn't happening. I ended up, getting them a little something to eat and then taking them out afterwards. But I just think it's stupid the way they're doing stuff. Yeah. There's no more convenience, but the prices have all gone crazy for everything.
Yeah. I was telling you guys, that's how much I care about reopening. I went to Golden Corral and a sold-out movie theater in the same day.
Nice.
Yeah, and everyone's grabbing them spoons.
USA.
That's what's so crazy.
Dude,
awesome.
Dude, hold on, time out, hold on, dude. That has ballooned up to something like $23 a person. Including a drink.
For what?
For dinner.
Making up for that money they lost.
For dinner.
Whoa.
Yeah. It was just two of us. The bill was $47.
I guarantee there's a Wendy's right up the street from that movie theater.
Man, but I really like Golden Corral though, bro. Like I hadn't been to a buffet in a year and a half, and my fat ass needed some buffet. I needed some all you can eat. That's my favorite type of restaurant.
Yeast rolls with the honey butter.
Dude, right? I did that. It's so delicious. Yeah, it's super good. I actually just found that. This time. I didn't realize that they had honey butter.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that. It was the greatest thing ever. I didn't even need dessert.
This is making me so happy. Okay.
That's our father's favorite place. So
yes, we used to go there every year for his birthday. We only stopped because there's not as many people here, but he still would love to go there. Okay, so anywho, but Santino, so what you just said, it triggered something. So have you talked to people and said, I went to a sold out movie theater, I went to Golden Corral, and do they look at you sideways? Like, have you encountered those people who are like, "Why are you outside? Like, we should not
No.
be traveling."
Well, because like
people.
I mean, no, and the reason is like, whenever I talk about this, I'm like, look, I got my vaccine. At this point, if you want to get a vaccine, you can if you want to. I've done my part. I'm not gonna hold myself up.
But there are still people.
Like
I
haven't. The truth is, I haven't really stopped doing me most of this time. The truth, like I don't think much has really changed. Actually, because I would even say like I don't even really go out really to eat too much anyway. Because like I cook everything at home because I just prefer it. Mm-hmm. And like going out's like a once every few weeks type thing anyway. Movies is an every week thing. I've been going to the movies every week since they reopened. That's just my passion. I haven't stopped doing that. I was really sad when the movies. That was the one thing I really missed was the movies. To be honest with you guys,
we could tell.
Here they did something cool. They built like mini drive-ins at the movie theater.
Yeah, they did that here. They did that here in Chicago too. And then like for my birthday, I organized that like awesome custom screening of Justice League for my birthday. At it was awesome. It was sweet. Yeah. If you were in town, Tito, man, you would have had to go.
I wouldn't have worn masks.
I don't think any of us did.
I wouldn't have worn a mask.
I think we wore it to like walk into the theater, and then once we were sitting down, that was it. Nobody cared.
But again, the stupidity of that. Like, what are we even doing anymore? It's illogical and silly.
It's been illogical since like the second or third month of the pandemic. Then everything just started changing and it didn't make any sense.
I stand by it. All it's been is just a security blanket. It was just like a token symbol to make people feel a little more comfortable when they had to go to Costco.
Really good for people with yuck mouth. Really good.
I'm the sound engineer.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
I'm the sound engineer at my church, and so I've had to do like 4 funerals since we reopened on the 15th of June, right? And it was like people waited to die till the pandemic ended. And the funeral is just coming hot and heavy. I got another one this week.
The first week.
But some funerals people will come to and they're fine, but the last 3 we've done, they have had a requirement that everybody in the building wear a mask. And I'm like, what for? So I'm in my sound room and somebody came up to me like, where's your mask? I said, look, I'm a member here. And it's like, and our policy is this optional. So as long as I'm in here, y'all can be out there, but I'm not putting nothing on my face. Y'all can have fun with that. So one of the ladies complained to the pastor, and the pastor was like, are you in there? Are you in there with it? And they were like, no. He was like, leave that young man alone. I was like, thank you, pastor.
They're still removing people from flights. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they are.
They're getting power hungry and they're just looking.
Yeah, and well, that's what I don't like about it is like the cheerleading of these type of policies. So that's a scary part.
I think people just want to travel and they just want to do things. So when people stand up for themselves and say, "I'm not wearing a mask," they're like, "Just get them off the plane." We got.
Oh yeah, I was in Ohio a few weeks ago. Man, it was the greatest thing ever. It was like COVID never existed.
Come to Houston.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I'll be honest. It was amazing. Like it was like COVID. It was like COVID was not a thing.
Go to Houston. There's no signs on the doors anymore. There's nothing. Never happened.
Wow.
USA.
When I was in Houston, I went to go get a tire fixed on my rental, and I walked in without my mask on, and I felt bad. I'm from California. We're still shut down. So I walked in, I feel bad. I was like, oh, crap, I forgot my mask. The dude looked at me and said, man, I ain't the mask police. He's like, live your life, I live mine. Ain't nobody worried about that. I was like, all right.
Awesome. It's not like that here. That's disgust.
I walked into Ace Hardware. That place is always kind of a little like America. You know what I mean? Walked into Ace Hardware, and I was like struggling to put it on. He was like, dude, like, we don't care.
Like, yes, I can breathe. Nowhere at time. Do we want to? Anybody have any final propaganda other than our government might be a little racist? Don't fall for propaganda.
And authoritarian.
Don't fall for propaganda. Don't let us become Cuba. Get vaccinated if you
China.
want. Don't if you don't want to. America, USA.
USA.
Don't let the free country be a real free country. Do what you want, live how you want to live, and if you don't like the way somebody lives, shut the f up about it.
The saddest day.
You don't care.
The saddest day was the day that the governor made that mandate that they could not require masks. I was in the store and I saw somebody without a mask. I'm like, we don't need masks. He's like, no. I was like, took it off, and then like 5 or 6 other people just was like, oh, this is awesome. We can see faces. We can read lips, because you never think about how much you read lips when you're talking to somebody until they have to cover it up and it's muffled. So it was cool and sad at the same time that people were excited to show their face.
Yeah, I got into a habit of talking to people like this.
Yeah,
Gotta lean my ear in.
The first day that Chicago reopened, I went to Mariano's and I had no mask on because they had the sign on the door and they said we follow CDC guidelines. And I walked in and my mask was off and everyone was staring at me like I was nuts.
Dude, that's the crazy part in Chicago. There's still a bunch of people that wear masks. A bunch of people, guys. It's the damnedest
thing. When I got home, my husband was like, "What do you mean
California
you're wearing a mask? You're gonna make us look bad."
California too.
You're crazy.
Me and the wife walk in and like,
yeah.
I could breathe.
We're about 50-50 out here.
People kind of like
50 in California or where you're at.
Yeah, 50-50 is a mask, no mask. Like, you see a bunch of people in there with masks on, people that don't have masks on. I don't care, live your life. But joggers, you trying to suffocate?
That's crazy.
That was weird.
Especially in the heat. That's just silly.
Yeah.
You know what? The mask, since I carry my mask here because we don't know if we're gonna need it or not, they do come in handy when I'm like sniffling or coughing. I just put it on and then people are like all of a sudden comfortable. Whereas before I feel like if I leave my mask and I start coughing, everyone's like, she has COVID.
Everyone looks at you, yeah. They still do.
So frustrating. I'm like, I promise you, I'm choking because I was eating granola and I laughed. And you can't explain yourself. No, everyone just assumes it's COVID. It's so annoying. And
it's allergies. It's allergies. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Stay away from Chate. She doesn't have on a mask and she's coughing. And she sneezed once. Anyway, all right. Well, that's all I have. I don't know if you guys have any more. Thank you guys for joining. Any other last words? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off Aaron. You were quiet. Did you want to say anything else?
Vax it up if you want to have sex.
Oh no.
Vax that thing up. Please don't watch that video. Well, go watch it if you want to, because USA. But man, don't fall for the trick. That's what I'm gonna say. Don't fall for the trick. Don't fall for it. But yeah, join us again in a few weeks. Check out our website. Check out our merch. We'll post this as a podcast as well. Don't forget about our podcast. And yeah, thank you all for joining. We appreciate everyone. Have a good night.
Have a good one, everybody.
Y'all be good.